Hi guys, it's Rob here from Mindset First, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Mindset. This week I want to talk to you guys about a couple things that I want you guys to remember and focus on when you feel like quitting or you feel like giving up. So, maybe you're feeling tired, maybe competition's getting really tough, maybe you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need, maybe you're just fatigued from all the different elements that go on in your everyday life. I know what's happened to me, and I know what's happening to a lot of athletes out there. And so all of us have experienced and will experience some point in time where we want to give up or we want to quit on whatever it is that we're doing. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about 4 aspects that I want you to keep in mind when you do feel like giving up and quitting, because one of the most important things that we can do is remain gritty and push through and persevere. So the number one thing, or the first thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, is that the mind only produces suggestions, right? So the mind is not producing choices for you. You take that choice. The mind is simply just producing you with a variation of suggestions, whether it is to stop, whether it is to give half effort, whether it is to push, whether it is to to jump harder or higher, whether it is to explode off of your next movement, whatever that may be, the mind is simply just producing you with a suggestion. And because it's just producing you with a suggestion, we then have multiple suggestions that we can pick from. The coolest part about this is that we actually hold all the control in regards to making the choice. So we have all these suggestions, let's say, 5-10 different suggestions, and then we can pick and choose which ones we're going to take. Keep in mind though, because we are tired, we are fatigued, we feel like giving up, we need to just remember that we need to pick and choose the suggestion that will better benefit us in the long term. This is very, very important. Now, the second thing I want you guys to remember is that nobody was ever upset after they finished a really good workout, right? So in those moments where you feel like quitting, things are getting tough, just remind yourself that, you know what, if I push now, whatever I'm going to feel at the end is going to be so worth it, right? And I know for myself, as an example, I'll have, workouts, or I'll have training sessions where I do feel like quitting or giving up or maybe stopping early, but I do choose to continue to go forward and push through, and I always feel great at the end, and I'm always kind of giving myself the thought of, oh, I'm so glad I did that, or I'm so glad that I put the effort in the way that I did today. And I know that that happens for every single person. So nobody was ever upset over finishing a really tough workout, right? Just remember that. Now, the third thing I really want you guys to remember is that discomfort is only temporary, right? So if you take your 24-hour day and really take out of that amount of time, let's say an hour and a half or 2 hours while you're training, that is a very, very small percentage of your day. So discomfort really is very temporary, right? And that discomfort is usually because you are trying to push your limits and you've pushed yourself into a part or a different section of discomfort, a place where maybe you simply are not used to being there, you're not used to pushing that hard, and so you've pushed yourself beyond your limits. Now we are experiencing discomfort, but that discomfort actually is where you grow, and it is where you make the most amount of improvement. So remember, we are now making an incredible amount of improvement and growth, and it's also just for a limited amount of time that you need to feel that discomfort to have a huge payout. So that's also something that you guys need to remember. It is very, very crucial. Now, the last thing that I want you guys to remember and keep in your mind is, on days where you feel like quitting and you feel like giving up, I need you to remind yourself that the best thing you can do is just show up, right? So show up and try to give the best that you possibly can on that particular day. The best on that day will not be the same as it was yesterday, the day before, maybe tomorrow. We're always changing. Every single day we're adapting and changing, and our body reacts and acts in different ways depending on various elements that go on in our life. And so I want you guys to really remember that just showing up is a really huge step, right? Just showing up and trying to do the best that you possibly can in that particular situation is a massive, massive step. So let's go through these things one more time, okay? So just remember, when you feel like quitting or you feel like giving up, remember that the mind is only producing suggestions, and you are in full control of taking the choices that you want to that better benefit you in the long term. The second thing that you guys need to remind yourself is that nobody was ever upset over completing a really, really tough workout, but in fact, we feel much, much better, and there is a sense of pride and accomplishment there. Now, the third thing is that discomfort is only temporary. So in the grand scheme of things, being in discomfort is where we really improve, and that is only for such a short amount of time to have a really big payout. And the last thing is just show up. Be there, try your hardest, work the most amount that you can work on that particular day, show up, be present, and everything will get better. I promise you guys that if you keep these 4 things in your mind when you do feel like quitting or giving up, you will see a really big change, and you really will see an impact in terms of the way that you feel, how quickly you're improving, and your overall state and ability to push in difficult situations. And with this, you also will become grittier, and being able to persevere is a massive key. So guys, have a fantastic week, and remember that the mindset always wins.